never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason to breathe this air.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Now that it is Sunday, we are unofficially 2 weeks away from the 2024 NASCAR season. And I say unofficially because 2 weeks from today will be Sunday, February the 4th, which is the Clash at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. But that's pretty much a practice, a scrimmage, a pretend, a let's go have fun. The actual official start to the season, as always, will be the Daytona 500, which comes up exactly 4 weeks from today. So we're 2 weeks away from the Clash and 4 weeks away from Daytona. And I think everybody knows by now that I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I started watching NASCAR in 1996, and I've never wavered. I've always enjoyed it, of course, just like football, just like baseball, just like basketball, just like wrestling, and just like everything else in life, things change. Nothing stays the same all the time. And if you try to stay the same, you will die out because nothing stays the same all the time. You have to consistently, constantly change. That's the one thing about NASCAR fans that I've never understood and never will. And I give NASCAR credit for actually trying to listen to its fans and do what the fans say, because no other sport does that. Every other sport, they do what they want to do. But in NASCAR, they actually try to do what the fans say and make them happy. But the problem is, you're never going to make everybody happy. It's impossible. It's never happened. It's never going to happen. It never will happen. But the old school NASCAR fans complain about how much NASCAR has changed. But if you've watched football for 10 years or more, you've seen football change. If you've watched basketball for 10 years or more, you've seen basketball change. So I don't understand why the NASCAR fans get mad when NASCAR changes when everything else changes too. But since we are 2 weeks away from the Clash, I want to go ahead and make my early predictions on which drivers I think will make the 2024 chase for the Cup. Of course, there's some names on here that won't be a surprise, and there's one or two that might be a surprise. I've got Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Darrell Wallace Jr., and Alex Bowman as the 13 names that shouldn't surprise anybody. And then a couple that might be a surprise is Eric Jones. He actually was very competitive last year in that old Richard Petty 43 car, but for whatever reason, he has the worst luck ever. Every time he'd run up front, he'd either get caught in an accident or he would come down pit road for a pit stop and the yellow flag would come out and he'd lose a lap. His car would blow up, tire would blow, just something all the time. This year, I think his luck changes. I think he'll win a race somewhere. He'll make the playoffs. And I think Ross Chastain will get in. I kind of thought last year might have been a one-year wonder, but I do think he'll make the playoffs again this year. And the final driver I've got getting in, it came down to Austin Cindric and Josh Berry. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on with Austin Cindric, but, his teammates are Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, who are both really, really good. They're both playoff drivers every year, and Austin Cindric can't seem to get a top 10. And it's only going to be his third full-time season, but he better start showing progress and start showing progress fast. But it did come down to him and Josh Berry, and of course, Josh Berry is now in the number 4 car, taking over for the retired Kevin Harvick. And I almost put in Austin Cindric just because Josh Berry is a rookie, but he's only a rookie in the Cup Series. Age-wise, he's been around for quite a while. He's been running Xfinity cars for a long time, and he still has Rodney Childers as his crew chief. He's a stayover from Kevin Harvick, and Rodney Childers is highly regarded as probably the best crew chief in NASCAR. So I think because of that, Josh Berry will win a race somewhere this year, and I think he makes the playoffs in his rookie season. But not only did Kevin Harvick retire, his teammate with Stewart-Haas Racing, Eric Almirola, also retired. Now, Eric Almirola is going to run part-time this year in the Xfinity Series. It's a driver that they're calling the legacy car because it's a full-time car in the Xfinity Series, but it has 3 or 4 veteran drivers, including Almirola, who have been around for a while, taking turns in that car. But Eric is only 40 years old, but he said he wants to be able to spend more time with his kids because they are quickly growing up. And NASCAR is pretty much a year-round sport. Now, we know the only sport that's year-round is wrestling. In wrestling, there is no off-season at all. It's 300-plus days every year. But NASCAR is just about a year-round sport. They start in February, and they go through November. They race 40 weeks, and in those 40 weeks, they only have 2 off weeks. And then as soon as the season ends, they have the award show. And then by early January, they're already doing preseason testing at Daytona. So they really pretty much only get the last half of November and December off, and that's it. So it's pretty much a year-round sport. And he said, hey, I want to be able to spend time with my kids. So I'm still going to race part-time in the Xfinity Series, but I'm not doing full-time anymore. Kevin Harvick is, I believe, 48 years old. He's now going to be up in the Fox booth along with Mike Joy and Clinton Boyer. So I think Harvick will do a phenomenal job at that. So Stewart-Haas Racing lost 2 full-time drivers in one off-season in Eric Almirola and Kevin Harvick. Now, Eric Almirola was rumored to retire after the 2022 season. He came back for one more year, and now he is officially done. And A.J. Allmendinger, who drove full-time last year for Colleague Racing, is now going back full-time to the Xfinity Series to try and win an Xfinity Series championship. So that car will still be full-time in the Cup Series, but it'll be different drivers, a rotating cast, so to speak, because A.J. Allmendinger wants to win an Xfinity Series championship. And in case you're wondering, Josh Berry took the place of Kevin Harvick, and taking the place of Eric Almirola in that 10 car is Noah Gragson. So those are my 16 drivers that I've got making the playoffs this year in NASCAR. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Josh Berry, Ross Chastain, Darrell Wallace Jr., Alex Bowman, and Eric Jones. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. I am so excited about the upcoming NASCAR season. It seems like the older I get, the more I enjoy NASCAR. And it's good because it's almost a year-round sport. So any weekend that I do not have a wrestling show, there will be a NASCAR race somewhere. So I never got to worry about getting bored on a Saturday afternoon or getting bored on a Sunday afternoon because, hey, if I ain't got wrestling, NASCAR's on. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Thursdays are so depressing. I told my friend that this past Thursday because he was so depressed. And I said, look, if Thursdays are so depressing, if you think Thursdays are bad, wait 2 more days. It'll be a Saturday. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.